Good morning, and welcome to Breakfast Tales. I'm your host, State. Grab a coffee, tea, or smoothie, and let's get started. This is part 2 of the Nathan Peachy story, and today we're going to talk about the missing silver dollar treasure which Nathan spent a decade in scamming, and that has partially disappeared. This story is complicated. If you're not coming here from part 1, you probably want to watch that first. The link's in the description. It sets the stage for what happened here and introduces the cast of characters. And, if you are coming here from part 1, clearly you're liking these videos, right? So why not subscribe for more off-the-wall stories like Nathan's? A quick recap. Nathan Peachy and his gang of sovereign citizen fraudsters, including Edgars, Luba, and the General, have stolen $13 million from people in the USA and have bought a mansion in Norway, several metric tons of silver coins, and some other stuff with the money. Money that was supposed to go to building humanitarian projects such as housing for people in Haiti. I guess those Haitians don't need it after all. Nathan sent emails to a man named Hans accusing him of stealing some of the silver coins, but got the email addresses wrong and sent them to me instead. At one point, he typed out a document he called an affidavit where he outlined his version of events. Let's dig in. Nathan claims that 67,400 silver dollar coins and 10 boxes of laptops and other equipment were stolen from the General in Luba's residence by Hans and his associate Joachim at the behest of a fugitive fraudster named John Dimitrion. The American Silver Eagle dollar coin in this photo from the General's house is worth about $40. So, if we do some quick math, 67,400 coins at $40 each gives us a value of $2,696,000 US dollars. Not bad for a quick haul, right? Well, let's think about that for a sec. A single Silver Eagle coin is 1 troy ounce of near pure silver, about 31 grams. Pulling out our trusty abacus, 67,400 coins weighs 2.1 metric tons. That's about the weight of 4.5 horses. Long story short, that's a lot of coins to just carry out.
What are you wearing?
I'm a cat burglar.
He went on to claim he knows the coins are in Hans's house and that he has satellite imagery using osmium tracer spec technology to confirm it. Yeah, satellite osmium tracer specs. That's definitely a real thing. I mean, I should know my GoldenEye satellites are also equipped with it. In the same document, Nathan also doxed the man who he thought he was talking to. Hans turned out to be Hans Christian Ferden. Ferden runs stateofglobe.com, free media Norway as he calls it. What can I say? The man has some cringe opinions, the usual milieu of right-wing conspiracy subjects, GMO food, coronavirus, Donald Trump, Bill Gates, etc. He campaigns to prevent cash being phased out in favor of digital bank transfers though, which are quite frankly a privacy nightmare, so hey, I kind of agree with that. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Maybe a topic for another video, I don't know. Leave a comment if you're interested in that, I'd love to hear from you. Hans knew the General from back in the day, and they appeared as directors on a company together years ago called Nordic Minerals Limited. Now, I just want to get this out of the way real quick. I don't know if Hans stole the coins. There's no evidence of that directly. Peachy accuses him, but in all fairness, we don't know that he did take them. I'm merely laying out what Peachy claims and going to draw up conclusions based on available information for, well, entertainment purposes. In 2019, the FBI raided Luba and the General's mansion in Norway and seized $2.7 million in silver coins, but that was only about half the expected amount. So what actually happened to those lost coins, the ones that Peachy is looking for? Well, what are we here for but to recklessly speculate like we're the most generous billionaires in the world? So let's make the screen all black and white and grainy and ominous and run through our theories. Number 1. The general gave the coins to Hans for safekeeping. This one seems plausible to me, and it goes something like this. Before the FBI raid, the general is sick with cancer and is admitted to hospital. Luba, his wife, goes with him. Luba and the general get tipped off, or just feel like things are heating up after their Joseph Project scam was starting to fall apart. Luba and the general have a house full of silver dollars and incriminating evidence on laptops and on hard drives. They decide they need to stash this stuff somewhere before the US and Norwegian Nina men come asking for it. So they call Hans, a friend who lives a convenient 12-minute drive away, to keep the coins and computers safe in his house. Hans shows up with a truck and brings his friend Joachim. They load the coins, leaving behind the green boxes they were originally stored in, but can't fit all of it, so they leave about half, 2.7 million, in coins behind. Before they can pick up the rest, the Popo raids the house and seizes the left-behind coins and finds a bunch of empty containers. The general dies. Nathan Peachy's trial ends in a guilty verdict, and in an effort to either reduce his impending 20-plus year sentence or to ensure once he gets out in his 70s he's going to have something to live on, he asks Hans for some of the coins back. Hans ghosts him because he's not stupid enough to risk having contact with a convicted felon who is under surveillance. Or he doesn't care about any of the others and wants to keep the coins for himself. Either way. I believe this theory covers the facts as I know them fairly well. Number 2. Peachy's version is mostly correct, aside from the ridiculous satellite bit. So the scenario goes something like this. Before the FBI raid, the general is sick with cancer and is admitted to hospital. Luba, his wife, goes with him. John Demetrion immediately smells the opportunity of that house being empty and gets Hans to drive up in a truck with Joachim and steal the coins. They remove the coins from the green boxes they've kept in to disguise the theft. The Popo raids the house and seizes the coins that remain. Luba calls Nathan, saying that the amount the FBI says they seized is less than the amount that she's supposed to have. Something doesn't quite add up. Hans is immediately suspected because he lives close by and he has the knowledge to break in and steal the coins. The general dies of cancer, and Nathan Peachy's trial ends in a guilty verdict. In an effort to either reduce his impending 20-plus year sentence, or to ensure once he gets out in his 70s he's going to have something to live on, he asks Hans for the coins back. Hans ghosts him because he doesn't care about any of the others and he wants to keep the coins for John Demetrion and himself. Number 3. The theft was an inside job. People like 3 of things. So here's a random third theory. Before the FBI raid, someone with access to the house has been stealing coins from the general's home a few at a time. They remove the coins from the green boxes that they're kept in to disguise the theft. Perhaps it's a maintenance person, a gardener, whatever. As time goes on, they keep on taking the silver coins and no one suspects a thing. Before the FBI raid, the general is sick with cancer and is admitted to hospital. Luba, his wife, goes with him. The Popo raids the house and seizes the coins that remain. Luba calls Nathan, saying that the amount the FBI says they seized is less than the amount that she's supposed to have. They don't add up. Hans is immediately suspected because he lives close by and he has the working knowledge to break in and steal the coins. The general dies of cancer. Nathan Peachy's trial ends in a guilty verdict, and in an effort to reduce his impending 20-year sentence or to ensure once he gets out in his 70s he's going to have something to live on, he asks Hans for some of the coins back. Hans ghosts him because he has nothing to do with any of this. So there you go. Those are 3 theories of what happened to the silver coins. In my opinion, they're all plausible. It could be that they're all wrong and another person entirely was responsible for the missing coins. However, we have no evidence so far. Even the theories about Hans ultimately only hinge on an unhinged sovereign citizen who, before fixating on Hans, accused the FBI of stealing those coins. And also of interest is the John Demetrion connection to Hans real? Again, it's only backed up by the statements made by Peachy, but why would he lie about it? Peachy's organization Rusa snuck Dimitrion out of Hawaii in a private jet, dressed up as a medical patient with an IV stuck in his arm, and his wife dressed as a nurse. Why would Peachy state so boldly that Hans and Dimitrion are working together if he had no knowledge about that? Following the emails to Hans in February 2022, Peachy was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Perhaps you've heard or seen of what sovereign citizens like doing in court, but basically they say they know the law better than actual lawyers. I have yet to see a single sovereign citizen defense win in court because clearly they don't.
There's no verified proof if we're in common law or admiralty law. What court is this?
Sir, I believe your answers will be in that decision and order.
I don't believe so.
Well, have you read it yet?
I don't have to.
Now, I'm no expert at legal matters, but I did watch pretty much every episode of Law & Order, so I'm pretty much a lawyer by now with like 22 seasons or years of expertise. Well, maybe not, but it makes me as much of a legal expert as Nathan Peachy and other sovereign citizens. But regardless, here, just to show you how exhausting it must be being around Nathan Peachy, these are the legal arguments he tried to get out of his conviction. Number 1, the court has no jurisdiction because he did not steal directly from the United States of America's government. He called on the court to vacate his conviction based on Rule 34, no, not that one, of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, where the court can throw out any case if it realizes it wasn't fit to judge it. Number 2, that since the jury in South Dakota lacked any Amish/Mennonite people or anyone from his home state of Pennsylvania, he was denied a jury of his peers. Number 3, that he was not allowed to try to claim back the millions of dollars the US government seized from him and his accomplices. Number 4, that he was denied the ability to argue that the charge of wire fraud with which he was convicted even requires a trial because that particular part of the legal code does not declare what he did as illegal. Number 5, he claimed that he was denied the right to introduce evidence in his own defense, but he never followed through to specify what evidence, so that didn't seem to go very far. Number 6, that Peachy's right to not incriminate himself was violated. This boils down to the fact that when he testified at his own trial, he felt that being cross-examined by the prosecutor is a violation of his right to remain silent. Number 7. Peachy claimed that he was a witness to various crimes committed by prosecutors and investigators, and I guess that implies that he didn't get a fair trial. Number 8. And my personal favorite, that evidence was suppressed by the prosecutors and investigators who conspired against the Christian religion and are attempting to commit a Christian genocide. Because apparently when God said, "Thou shalt not steal," he really meant "Thou shalt not steal except if you're going to buy a bunch of silver dollars with the ill-gotten gains." Imagine going to dinner with him and arguing about how much each of you owes when the check arrives. So far, of all Peachy's motions have been denied. Additionally, Luba has taken a plea deal and is facing 10 years in prison. Perhaps her testimony in exchange for her plea could help find what may have happened to those wayward coins. And as for the other major players in the game, as of me making this video, Edgars still lives in Riga, Latvia. I've reached out to Edgars with an offer to comment or even to tell his side of things in an interview, but he told me to go F myself because, quote, "I seem like a dark and not genuine person," end quote. And he would know a lot about genuine people, like his friends, a fake general, a fake preacher, and a woman who bought a Mercedes SUV with money that she was supposed to go to building homes for the disadvantaged. Hans continues to live in the outskirts of Oslo, Norway. His socials are quiet, his website State of Globe has not had an article in almost 2 years, and his PR company's website has been taken offline. I've reached out to him multiple times because I'd genuinely be interested in talking to him and hearing his side of this, but Dear Hans, I wrote you but you still ain't calling. I sent a Twitter DM, an email, and my request for comment at the bottom. I sent 2 emails back in March, you must not have got them. There probably was a problem with the mail server or something. Sometimes I scribble addresses like Nathan when I jot them, but anyways, fuck it, what's been up, man? How's Norway? If you're watching, Hans, it's been fun pretending to be you for a while. If you ever want to compare notes and who is the better Hans, or just want to tell me your side of the story, check your messages. I'll be listening. And there you go. This is the story of the silver coin schemers, up to this point. Thanks so much for bearing with me here. I know it's complicated. As new developments come up in this still open case, I might see fit to do another video with updates. This has been a super fun story to launch the channel on, and I'm new to all this, so I'd really appreciate if you left a comment, a like, or a subscribe to the channel. And please, if you have any feedback, feel free to post it in the comments section. Any and all feedback really helps an aspiring storyteller like me keep going. And with that, I bid you adieu.